Hello friends, today we are going to learn about complex numbers. So now in a previous video we have learned about the powers of iota, which is powers of the imaginary units, which is I. Also we had learned about modulus and the argument of the complex number and representation of it on the Argand diagram or the polar form, also polar plane also. Now today we are going to learn about the square root of complex numbers, polar form of the complex number, which is nothing but the trigonometric form of complex number. Also we are going to learn about Euler's identity, also known as exponential form of complex number. So now today we are going to start from this first topic, which is known as square root of complex numbers. Now we have learned about operations on complex number, which consist of addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Also we have learned about powers. Also we have learned about powers of iota, not a complex number. Complex numbers power can be expressed or easily be installed using De Moivre's theorem and polar form. That we will also learn. But first we are going to learn about square root of complex number. Now suppose if I have a complex number which is z. Z is equal to a plus iota b, a plus ib. Then what will be square root of z? Square root of z will be square root of a plus ib, and we have to find the value of this a plus ib. Then we can find the value of square root of a plus ib, which is square root of z, which is equal to a plus ib. Now if we consider that root of a plus ib is equal to x plus iy, if we consider this, then which means that we got a plus ib is equal to x plus iy the whole square, from which we'll get a plus ib is equal to x plus iy the whole square. So we'll get a plus ib is equal to x squared plus 2 into x into iy. So 2x y into I plus iy the whole square, which is I squared y squared, I squared y squared. So now it will be equal to x plus iy the whole squared. It will be equal to x squared plus 2xyi plus I squared will be negative 1. I squared will be negative 1. Negative 1 into y squared. What is negative 1 into y squared? It will be equal to negative y squared. Now group the imaginary part, group the real part. Then we will get x squared minus y squared plus 2xy into I. This complex number will get. Now we know about equality of complex numbers. That is, in complex number z1, if it is real part of z1 plus imaginary part of z2 into I, and z2, this is z1, and z2 can be expressed as real part of z2 plus imaginary part of z2 into I. Then equality of complex number is like this. That is, if z1 is equal to z2, then real part of z1 is equal to real part of z2 and imaginary part of z1 is equal to imaginary part of z2. This is known as equality of complex numbers. Now by using the same hypothesis, we can find the value of a and find the value of b. So we'll get two equations. First equation will be x squared minus y squared is equal to a, and what will be the another equation? It will be b is equal to 2xy. b is equal to 2xy. Now we have to solve this equation to get the value of x and y. We have to solve this equation to get the value of x and y. This is equation 1 and this is equation 2. Now what we have to do? Can we find the value of x squared plus y squared? Yes, we can find the value. X squared minus y squared is given. If we find the value of x squared plus y squared, we can find the value of x and y. So now how we can find the value of x squared plus y squared? Now here we know that x squared plus y squared the whole square is equal to x squared minus y squared the whole square plus 2xy the whole square. This is the algebraic identity. By using this identity, we can find the value of x squared plus y squared. Now x squared plus y squared whole squared will be equal to x squared minus y squared. What is x squared minus y squared? It is a. Now its whole square will be a square. A square plus 2xy. What is 2xy? It is b. So it will be b square. So we'll get the value of x square plus y square as square root of a squared plus b squared. This is the value of x squared plus y squared. Now we'll consider it to be as equation number 3. This is equation number 3. Now by using this equation 1 and equation 3, we can find the value of x and y. We can find the value of x and y. So this is first equation. X squared minus y squared is equal to a. This is first equation. Second equation is x squared plus y squared is equal to square root of a squared plus b squared. Equation 2. This is equation 2. Now if we add it, let's say that if we add it, then what we will get? X squared plus x squared will get 2x squared, minus y squared will get cancelled and with plus y squared. So we'll get, on LHS side we'll get 2x squared, on RHS side we'll get a plus square root of a squared plus b squared. So the value of x squared will be a plus square root of a squared plus b squared upon 2. Now then what will be the value of x? The value of x will be plus or minus square root of a plus square root of a squared plus b squared upon 2. We have found out the first value. Now what about second value, that is y squared. Now what happened when we subtract these two equations? Now if we subtract these two equations, then we will get, on LHS side we will get x squared plus y squared minus x squared minus y squared. We are finding the value of LHS. So here x squared plus y squared minus x squared plus y squared. So here x squared and minus x squared will get cancelled. Remaining is 2y squared. So it will be 2y squared. Now here we have subtracted x squared plus y squared and x squared minus y squared. That is, we have subtracted x squared minus y squared from x squared plus y squared. Then what we have to do? What is the value of x squared plus y squared? It is root a squared plus b squared. Subtract it from a. Then what we will get? We will get root of a squared plus b squared minus a. Minus a. So we have to write this. Bring it a to this side. So we can write it as square root of a squared plus b squared plus a divided by 2 also. So here we will get x is equal to plus or minus square root of a squared plus b squared plus a upon 2. Likewise, we will get the value of y as square plus or minus square root of a squared plus b squared minus a upon 2. This is the value of y. Now we have to find the value of x plus iy. We can find the value of x plus iy if we know x and y. So what is the value of x? Plus or minus square root of a squared plus b squared plus a upon 2. And the value of y is plus or minus square root of a squared plus b squared minus a upon 2. Now we can write it as x plus iy as x, which is plus or minus root of a squared plus b squared plus a upon 2 plus I into square root of a squared plus b squared minus a upon 2. Now we have to put plus or minus sign. So here square root of a plus ib will be is equal to plus or minus x plus iy. Now you may have the question that here y plus, suppose here the value of ib is in positive, that is imaginary part of z is greater than 0, it is positive, which means that the answer that we will getting, this sign, this is the main sign, is positive, but this sign will be plus or minus. But what happens if this imaginary part of z is lesser than 0? Then, which means that this is negative which means that this sign also be negative and this will be plus or minus. So we have derived the formula. Now if we look at this formula, then we can see that root of a squared plus b squared is nothing but the modulus of z. Why? Because square root of a squared plus b squared is this modulus of a squared, modulus of a plus ib, mod of a plus ib. Now what is mod of a plus ib? It is mod of z, this z, mod of z, which means we can further simplify x as x is equal to plus or minus square root of mod z plus what is a is real part of z upon 2. Similarly y is equal to plus or minus square root of mod z minus real part of z upon 2. So by which we get the answer for square root of a plus ib has to be equal to square root of plus or minus in bracket square root of mod of z plus real part of z upon 2 plus I into square root of mod z minus real part of z upon 2. Now there is a condition that imaginary part, if the imaginary part is positive, that is imaginary part is greater than 0, then the main sign of this obtaining answer, that is x plus iy, instead of plus there will be minus. If here a plus ib sign is negative, that is imaginary part of z is lesser than 0. If it is positive, that is greater than 0, then this sign will be positive. Always put x plus iy in bracket and put plus or minus sign. Why? Because minus x plus iy whole squared will also give us a plus ib, and plus x plus iy the whole squared will give us a plus ib. It's the same. That's why put plus or minus sign. This is all about the square root of complex number. Now but in book we can see that this formula is not given. We have derived this formula, which will be easy to find the answer. Now we will write the final formula here with the condition. So now what will be the root of z? What will be root of z? Root of z will be is equal to plus or minus in bracket square root of mod of z plus real part of z upon 2 plus I into square root of mod z minus real part of z upon 2, and the condition is that if imaginary part of z is positive, then the answer obtaining will be plus or minus x plus iy. This is plus. And if imaginary part of z is lesser than 0, then the answer obtaining will be plus or minus x minus iy. This is the formula for the square root of complex number. This is the formula for the square root of complex number, which is easy to use and find the square root of many complex numbers without that lengthy procedure that is given in the book. Now we will go to our next topic, which is the trigonometric form or the polar form of the complex number. Now suppose if I take that same Argand plane or the complex plane, this is real axis, this is imaginary axis. Now here suppose if I take the complex number, this is this point a plus ib again, which represents the coordinates a comma b. This is point A, this is point B. This is imaginary, so we can represent it to be as IB also. Now if I take this point and join this point to the origin, then this length will be modulus of z. Let it be r. Let it be r. Now what will be this? This will be the argument. Let it be theta. This is the right angle. This is the right angle. Now here what will be this length? This is 0 to A. So it will be A. This is 0 to B. This length and this length will be equal. So this is B. This length is A. This is B. This is R. This angle is theta, which is also known as argument. This is modulus. This much we know. Now we have to write a complex number into a trigonometric form. Now while proving argument and modulus of the complex number, you may have thinking that we got a value of a, we got a value of b. We know complex number can be expressed as a plus ib, which means take the same value, put it as the format of a plus ib, it will be the trigonometric form. Now we will do that. See, now what will be cos theta? Cos theta will be adjacent a by r. What will be sin theta? Sin theta will be is equal to b by r, which means that what will be the value of a? Value of a will be cos r into cos theta, and what will be the value of b? It will be r into sin theta. R into sin theta. Value of a is r into cos theta. Value of b is r into sin theta. Now we got the value of a, we got the value of b. This point represent a plus ib, which means what will be the value of a plus ib? Value of a plus ib will be r into cos theta plus I into r sin theta. Now r and r get common outside, so it will be r into cos theta plus I sin theta. This is known as the trigonometric form or the polar form of the complex number. Now if we have to write without using the variables like this or the general format for the complex number, we can write this as r, also known as modulus. So mod of z into cos theta. What is theta? It is argument of z. So cos of argument of z plus I into sin argument of z. This is the format of trigonometric or the polar form of complex number, that is mod z into cos of argument of z plus I into sin argument of z. Instead of writing this much long, we can write it as r into cos theta plus I sin theta, where r is modulus. We can understand that theta is the argument in the case of complex number. This is known as polar form of complex number. We have to remember this, the polar form of complex number. Next is the exponential form of complex number. Now exponential form of complex number is just a simplification of this polar form. It's just a simplification of this polar form into exponential form. But how? We can see that this is r cos theta plus I sin theta. We can't simplify it. But there was a scientist known as Euler. It is also known as Euler's identity. That is e to the power I theta is equal to cos theta plus I sin theta. This is the same polar form, but instead of angle theta, and that is argument of z, here is theta, that is argument. Now if we multiply it with the modulus, then multiply the modulus with it. So we will get r into e to the power I theta will be equal to cos theta plus I sin theta. So we will get r into e to the power I theta, it will be equal to cos theta plus I sin theta into r. This will be known as exponential form of complex number. Now we know these two formats, that is r into cos theta plus I sin theta, and this is r into cos theta plus I sin theta, which is known as trigonometric form, that is a plus ib is equal to this polar form. Next we have learned about what is exponential form, that is r into e to the power I theta is equal to r into cos theta plus I sin theta. So which means that we can simplify polar form to r into e to the power I theta. Now by simplifying this, we'll get r into e to the power I theta. This is also known as Euler's identity. Euler's identity is this much only, that is e to the power I theta is cos theta plus I sin theta. But in the case of complex number, we have to multiply r. Why? Because every complex number can be expressed as a polar form, that is into the modulus. So if we multiply the modulus to the right hand side, then multiply the modulus to the left hand side. So it will be r into e to the power I theta will be equal to r into cos theta plus I sin theta. It will be known as exponential form of complex number. Next we are going to learn about is De Moivre's theorem. Now De Moivre's theorem is just based on the base of polar form, trigonometric form and Euler's identity, also known as exponential form. Now what is De Moivre's theorem? Remember I told you that complex number to the power n can also be found out. But how? We know that a plus ib is equal to r into cos theta plus I sin theta. So r into cos theta plus I sin theta whole to the power n is equal to r to the power n into cos n theta plus I sin n theta. This is known as de Moivre's theorem. Now what is r cos theta plus I sin theta? It is just polar form. It is just the polar form of complex number, that is a plus ib, which means that a plus ib to the power n is equal to modulus of complex number, that is a plus ib whole to the power n into cos n into argument of z plus I sin n into argument of z. This formula is known as de Moivre's theorem. It is a type of a theorem. Now, can we prove it? Yes, we can prove it. But there are two ways to prove it. First way is by using method of induction, that is given in the book. That is, it is 4th chapter. That is method of induction and binomial theorem, that we will learn when we complete permutation and combination and sequence and series chapter. Afterwards we are going to learn that. Now method of induction is just based on proving. Method of induction is just based on proving that first consider k, n is equal to k, then n is equal to k plus 1, and then verifying it, giving that if you take the value of k and k plus 1 it must be equal. This is the step of proving by using method of induction. But we can prove it using simpler way, most simpler way than binomial theorem method of induction also. We need just 3 steps. But how? We know that r into cos theta plus I sin theta can be expressed as r into e to the power I theta. So r into e to the power I theta whole to the power n can be expressed as LHS. Can be expressed as LHS. Now we can multiply it. So we'll get r to the power n into e to the power I theta into n. E to the power I, instead of writing theta n, we are going to write it n theta, n into theta. It's just a c. Now if we consider the value of n theta as alpha, if we consider n theta as alpha, then we will get r to the power n into e to the power I alpha. Then we know that how to simplify it. This is in the format of polar form. This is in the format of polar form. So we can write it. So if we consider the r to the power n as capital R, then it will look like polar form. That is capital R into e to the power I alpha. It looks like polar form. Then we can simplify to it as r to the power n into cos alpha plus I sin alpha. Now replace the value of alpha as n theta. So we will get r to the power n into cos n theta plus I sin n theta. This is the value. What is this value? It is just the RHS of the de Moivre's theorem. Hence we have proved it. How many steps required? These 3 are the main steps. So 3 steps are required. That is r to the power n into e to the power I alpha. Alpha can be replaced as n theta also. So we'll get 3-step answer proving complete. That is of de Moivre's theorem. Instead of using binomial method of induction and writing so many steps and somewhat mistake also, we can use this also. That is replacing n theta as alpha, r to the power n, it is in the format of polar form, simplifying it, then we'll get r to the power n into cos n theta plus I sin n theta. This is all about de Moivre's theorem. Now we know what is polar form, trigonometric form, exponential form, Euler's identity, also de Moivre's theorem, which means that we can find a plus ib whole to the power n. We can find a plus ib whole to the power n. So here a plus ib can be expressed as r into cos theta plus I sine theta. First step, by using polar form, that is trigonometric form, whole to the power n. Now it seems like the LHS of De Moivre's theorem. Simplify it, then we will get r to the power n into cos n theta plus I sin n theta. This is that what we have to do to take the power of n. This is all about the De Moivre's theorem. De Moivre's theorem, exponential form, Euler's identity, trigonometric form, polar form of complex number. Also we have learned what is square root of complex number also and derived its formula. Now we will summarize all that we have learned. First, we have learned about square root of complex number, that is square root of z is equal to plus or minus square root of mod z plus real part of z upon 2 plus I into square root of mod z minus real part of z upon 2. Now what are the conditions? Condition is that first condition, that is if imaginary part is greater than 0, then the answer obtaining will be in the format of plus or minus x plus iy. And second condition is that this is condition. This is the first condition. What is the second condition? Second condition is that if imaginary part is lesser than 0, then the answer obtaining format will be plus or minus x minus iy. This is the first that we have learned, also proved it. Next, what we have learned? We have learned about what is polar form of complex number. What is polar form of complex number? Any complex number a plus ib can be expressed as r into cos theta plus I sin theta, also known as trigonometric form, where r is mod of a plus ib, which is mod of z, and theta is argument of a plus ib. This is argument of a plus ib. Next, what we have learned? We have learned about what is Euler's identity, also known as exponential form. So third, we have learned about Euler's identity, that is e to the power I theta is equal to cos theta plus I sin theta. Now if we multiply it by r, then we will get Euler's identity for complex numbers. Now this is the exponential form of complex number, or we can say it as also known as, it is known as exponential form or the Euler's identity. Now fourth, we have learned about a theorem, that is De Moivre's theorem. What is De Moivre's theorem? It's just taking the power of r into e to the power I theta, that is r into cos theta plus I sin theta, which tells that r into cos theta plus I sin theta whole to the power n is equal to r to the power n into cos n theta plus I sin n theta. Now you may say that here it is n theta. N theta can be expressed as n theta plus 2k pi. How? 2k pi. Here we know the unit circle like this, 2k pi. Any constant can be multiplied by 2 pi. What is 2 pi? This. Now taking again that with any multiple, now adding to it with theta, then it will be that angle itself, that is coterminal angle. That's why we can say it to be as r to the power n into cos n theta plus 2k pi plus I sin n theta plus 2k pi also. Now this is all about today's video. In our today's video we have learned about square root of complex number, proof of it. Second, we have learned about polar form of complex number. Third, exponential form, Euler's identity. And fourth, we have learned about De Moivre's theorem and proved it also. In our next video, we are going to learn about plotting a complex number on different types of shapes. That is, this complex number is lying on line or it is lying on circle. This also we are going to learn, and also we are going to learn about one thing, that is complex cube root of complex number, that is complex cube root, that is complex cube root of unity, that is also known as cube root of unity for complex number. Thank you.